So now let's take a look at different methods of defining a relation. So these are different ways on how we represent relations. First, in a form, as we've said earlier, a list of ordered pairs. Next is what we call a mapping diagram, such as this, where each input in this set is mapped to some output. So 1 is mapped to 2 and -4, -3 is mapped to 4, and 3 is also mapped to 4. So this is also another way of writing a relation. So you can also see here in this mapping diagram, we have already determined what we call domain and range. So domain is it is the set of the inputs. So in this case, the domain of this would be listed as 1, -3, and 3, while the range would be listed as 2, -4, and 4. Now another method of defining a relation would be in the form of a graph. Now notice all of these relations. This, and the mapping, they are actually all the same relation, just represented in different ways. Now the last one is a different relation, and you can see it is also a graph, but the difference is this graph has points in them, while this graph is actually an infinite number of points right there. So, which is why we have a continuous curve that represents all the points on this graph. So if we have a graph such as this, to find the domain, we want to look at the leftmost or the least number for x, which is right here. And that starts with 0. Because 0 is included, we enclose that with bracket. And the maximum number for the inputs, or the x, would be infinity. So notice how we now write the domain for this graph using an interval notation, while the range would be everything going down all the way up through the maximum number for y. So looking at the graph, it actually goes from, for the range is -infinity to infinity.